Some of Hermès products are made in China. Towels are from Fuyue in Shandong. They also make products for Chanel and IKEA. Beddings are from Yue in Shandong. Men's shoes are from Shachi in Shandong. Tableware are from Gaochun in Jiangsu.
Made in Italy, made in China, or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way, because some brands get real creative when it comes to made in labels.
In a shock that rocked the global fashion world, Hermès is now plunging into an unprecedented crisis. This luxury giant is now launching a legal war against the very Chinese manufacturers who dared to expose their billion-dollar secret, and this affair is causing a stir across the entire fashion world.
Once upon a time, luxury was made in Europe. France had Chanel, Italy had Gucci, the UK had Burberry. The West made these brands, the East made the knockoffs. That was how it worked. But today the picture is quite different.
These factories are not just producing fakes, they are the ones actually making the bags, and now they are publicly revealing to the whole world the truth behind the Made in France label. From shady production tricks, internal invoices, to TikTok videos of Chinese factory workers spreading at breakneck speed globally, this scandal is shattering the luxurious, elite illusion that Hermès has meticulously built over decades. While this brand is racing to extinguish the flames, the truth has burst out and the billion-dollar damage is irreparable. What secrets have the Chinese manufacturers exposed about Hermès? What is the truth behind the Made in France label? How much is the real cost of a Birkin? $60,000 or $60? Join us to explore now the dark secret that Hermès has hidden from its ultra-rich customers for decades, and why this lawsuit could change forever the entire global luxury fashion industry. Hermès is the pinnacle of luxury, where artisanal craftsmanship intertwines with cultural heritage. From a workshop crafting harnesses for the aristocracy, Hermès has risen to become the world's leading luxury brand, renowned for its exquisite handbags, silk scarves, and meticulous accessories. Iconic bags like the Birkin and Kelly are not merely fashion accessories, but works of art, embodying timeless design, impeccable quality, and a story of French refinement. Hermès is not just a brand, it's a symbol of success, prestige, and aspiration. Not everyone can purchase a Hermès bag. Even affluent customers with immense wealth must wait months, sometimes years, to own a Birkin or Kelly. This means that possessing a Hermès bag is akin to stepping into the world of the elite, a high society realm where stars like Victoria Beckham and the upper echelon affirm their lifestyle. For this reason, Hermès has become the dream of millions, a declaration of a refined lifestyle and the ambition to reach the pinnacle.
Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag. This that you've just seen, the perlage, you need to be very skilled and very, very good.
But now, the dazzling dream of millions of luxury fashion devotees has morphed into a terrifying nightmare after a series of shocking revelations from Chinese manufacturers. And these aren't your run-of-the-mill counterfeiters. These are the very workers toiling inside secret factories, directly crafting the Hermès bags hailed as exquisite and exclusive. Why now? Why are these workers risking everything to expose the truth about their big-name clients, fully aware they'll face horrific lawsuits over breaching confidentiality agreements? Nobody torches their own livelihood unless there's a bigger force backing them up. So, what powerhouse is bold enough to take on Europe's top-tier brands head-on? This story is getting juicier by the minute, with a whirlwind of why questions swirling around it. To unravel the reasons behind these bold moves, join us as we dig into statements from the Chinese workers and insights from leather expert Tanner Leatherstein.
It is 100% fact that all Hermès bags are not made in Paris. It is 100% fact that Hermès employees were making their own bags, unauthorized by Hermès, and selling them, and making millions and millions of dollars.
Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China, the bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. They take almost finished bags from China factories back to their own factories and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that.
Picture this: you drop a whole month's salary, maybe even your rent money, to snag a Hermès Birkin, the ultimate symbol of exclusivity and class. But what if I told you that work of art might have been churned out in the same Shenzhen factory making $50 knockoff bags? Yep, you heard me right. Viral TikTok videos from folks claiming to be workers in Chinese factories have set the internet on fire. They're spilling the tea, saying 80% of those fancy made-in-France luxury bags aren't crafted by skilled French artisans with magic hands, but by mass production lines in China. Not just assembled, fully made from tanning the leather, stitching, threading, cutting, all done in Chinese factories. Then, Hermès swoops in, ships these nearly finished bags to France, adds a tiny detail like a button, a stamp, or even just some packaging to make it legit. And just like that, poof, it's slapped with a Made in France label and a price tag jacked up tenfold. Internal invoices and videos of workers flexing logo-free products back up the claims that Hermès has been hiding the real labor behind their bags. This isn't just slick marketing, it's straight-up deception, tricking consumers who thought they were shelling out for exquisite French craftsmanship. So, when those Chinese factories started spilling the truth and flashing receipts, Hermès lost it.
So Hermès has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
Tanner Leatherstein, a leather expert with a massive TikTok following, took this drama to a whole new level. Known for his surgery videos slicing open luxury bags, Tanner straight up dissected a Birkin to expose its real quality. The verdict? The leather in Hermès bags isn't any better than $100 knockoffs, and the cost to make a Birkin? Just around $600. Not $14,000, not $38,000, but $600, including top-notch leather and metal hardware. Tanner's breakdowns have shaken Hermès's luxury image to its core, leaving consumers wondering about the real value of their purchases. If a $60,000 bag is made in the same factory with similar materials as a dupe, what are they even paying for? The answer seems to be just the brand, not the quality.
I have spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
So what does Hermès do? Admit it? Nope. Apologize? Of course not. Instead, they slap on the lawsuits. Hermès is suing several Chinese factories for misuse of intellectual property and defamation while dropping glossy factory tour videos in France to calm the storm. Basically, they're like, how dare you tell the world our bags aren't really made in France? But here's the kicker. These Chinese manufacturers were under contract with the luxury brands. They were legally making the bags. But now that they've spoken out, Hermès is acting like they don't know them, as if they just stumbled upon these factories' existence. Let's do some quick math to see the big picture crystal clear. In 2024, Hermès raked in a massive $15.2 billion in revenue, which means millions of bags sold worldwide. A single Birkin, according to Hermès, takes 2 days of hands-on work by a skilled artisan. So, who's this mystery squad of French artisans churning out millions of bags? The numbers don't add up. Something smells like fraud here. Hermès suing the Chinese factories, ones that made real bags, is being seen as a desperate attempt to cover up the truth. Instead of clearing things up, this move only makes the public question the brand's transparency even more. A fashion industry analyst put it bluntly, Hermès is gambling with customer trust. They think a lawsuit and a slick promo video will squash the doubts, but the information age isn't that easy to manipulate. Hermès's lawsuit, rather than protecting their reputation, is like pouring fuel on the fire. Social media posts and fashion forums are buzzing with the hashtag #HermèsScandal, where users share personal stories of their disappointment. One ex-post racking up thousands of interactions read, "I waited a whole year to buy a Birkin, and now they're saying I'm holding a made-in-China bag. What a joke." And Hermès isn't alone. Other luxury brands like Prada, Chanel, and Louis Vuitton are also accused of using similar tactics. They make 98% of the product in China, then add a zipper or button made in Italy just to legally slap on a Made in Italy label. It's a marketing game, a scam, and consumers have fallen for it because of the prestige tied to European labels.
Will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag. That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil. The only difference is
Who is the Chinese supplier behind product? Bags are from Sitong Handbag in Dongguan City, Guangdong Province. It's a factory specializing in handbags for 54 years, and it produces 80% of the world luxury bags.
And we end today's show about luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. Turns out your quote-unquote made in Italy luxury handbag might have more ties to Chinese factories than to Tuscany.
Now let's zoom out and look at this story from a bigger angle. Why are these Chinese workers bold enough to break confidentiality agreements and spill the truth? I mean, if these workers were hired by big brands to make those bags, they must have signed ironclad legal contracts worth hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So why are they willing to risk it all to speak out about the truth?
US tariffs against China add up to 145%.
And I think this is no longer a spontaneous move, but a soft retaliation from the Chinese government amid escalating trade tensions with the US, as the US, under Donald Trump and subsequent policies, keeps ramping up tariffs, imposing tech bans, and pressuring China. China might be choosing to undermine trust in Western luxury brands, a key cultural and economic pillar of the American consumption model. By revealing that products worth hundreds of millions are actually made in low-cost Chinese workshops at a fraction of the price, China is weakening brand positioning, sowing doubt among consumers, and directly hitting the revenue, stocks, and even the indirect GDP of Western nations. This isn't just a battle over goods or tariffs, it's a war over trust, over the symbolic value of a consumer-driven economy. The synchronized spread of these videos, perfectly timed with the heightening trade war, suggests possible backing from the Chinese government, which is adept at using TikTok to shape public opinion. However, there's no clear evidence of the government's role, and the videos could stem from counterfeit producers looking to exploit the situation to sell cheap knockoff bags. Still, the economic impact on the US will be minimal, as the luxury sector accounts for less than 1% of the retail market. This could be a strategic move in an information war where China leverages consumer discontent to counterstrike Trump, but the risk of losing contracts with major brands leaves the government's involvement an open question. And in this war, the truth revealed by workers might just be the sharpest dagger China has thrown to hit back. When more and more people know the truth, the resale prices of these bags start to dip. They realize they paid $60,000 for a bag made in the same factory as a $600 dupe. Tanner Leatherstein doesn't work for any brand. He doesn't sell anything fancy. He shows his work, explains the materials, and breaks it all down. He cut open his $1,800 wallet collection to show you what you're really paying for. And what he found? Disappointment. Every single time.
Most of those bags I cut open, just expensive, nothing special. But a few truly exceptional. And even as someone who...
Tanner exposed those Hermès bags hyped up as premium calfskin. Hold up, don't buy the hype. Many are just cheap plastic-coated leather, puffed up by glossy marketing campaigns. This is collectors sweating and buyers fuming, because if Hermès isn't really about quality or craftsmanship, then what did they pay for? The harsh truth? You're shelling out for the brand, not the quality. Western media's got folks thinking China equals low quality and Europe equals high class. But dig deeper and it's all just marketing. Chinese factories today have cutting-edge tech, top-tier materials, and next-level skills, cranking out world-class leather goods. Even luxury brands, yep, including Hermès, make their stuff in the same factories as mid-range brands or knockoffs. And what do these luxury brands do? They just slap a different label on the final product. That's it. So when someone tells you a bag's made in China, that doesn't mean it's trash. It might even be better than anything made in France, Italy, or England. Check this story. One content creator flaunted UGG boots identical to the real deal, bought straight from the factory for just $5. No logo, no label, but the quality, no different from the $1,000 pair. The only difference? The brand. And now, as consumers are waking up, this industry's in full-on panic mode.
Knows about in America. He started making his boots in China, and that is these boots right here. This is pretty much the UGG boot that like most Americans will have in their house. I was very pissed off when I found out the truth because I grew up in Southern California. I remember being in elementary school when I would only see 2 people in the entire school wearing UGG boots, and they were always the cool surfer kids.
Let's get real for a hot second. These designer brands wouldn't be where they are without celebs flashing them like trophies. You think they're buying Birkin and Chanel bags just for kicks? Nah. Most of them are either gifted or paid to rock those bags. It's called slick marketing strategy, backed by celebrities and clout-chasing influencers. The brand hands Cardi B a $60,000 bag she posted on Instagram, and boom. Suddenly, every influencer, fashionista, and dreamer is scrambling to get their hands on one. You think you're buying luxury? Nope, you're just buying celebrity approval.
Nothing is as humbling as your daughter drawing on your $60,000 Birkin, am I right?
Damn. I couldn't even be mad at her because when I asked her, I was like, I wanted to see if she was gonna tell me the truth. I was like, Coach, did you draw on mommy's purse?
Literally spent $60,000 on this purse. Look what my daughter did to my purse.
And don't forget the time Kylie Jenner posted about Hermès, but how many of those were actually bought with their own cash? And even if they did buy them, were they really made in France or in some workshop in Shenzhen?
This is pretty much where I keep all my purses. This one here is really special. If my house is on fire, I would take this one.
And it ain't just celebs, y'all. Influencers are out here doing the dirty work too. TikTok and Instagram are flooded with flashy unboxing videos where influencers flex their newly copped Hermès bags, but most of those just PR gifts or brand collabs. These content creators are raking in stacks, promoting bags they didn't pay a dime for, pushing the narrative that you need a designer bag to be somebody. Meanwhile, the brands are laughing all the way to the bank, selling $600 bags for a wild $26,000 just because you saw them on social media. But let's talk about this Birkin trap. Somewhere along the way, owning a Birkin became the ultimate status symbol. But here's the kicker. Hermès doesn't let just anyone buy one. You know what? You can't just stroll into Hermès and say, I want to buy one of these and grab one off the shelf. You gotta earn it, meaning you have to build a purchase history, dropping tens of thousands of dollars on silk scarves, belts, and accessories before they even consider selling you a bag. Sorry, we don't have any in stock. First, you have to be an Hermès customer. You have to prove you love the brand, and then you're only allowed to buy one per year, they say. This ain't luxury, it's a luxury cult, and people are still lining up to join. Take a look at the resale market. Just a few years ago, Birkin bags were being flipped like real estate with prices skyrocketing at auctions. But now, as the truth about the production process gets exposed, bag prices are crashing. Resellers are sweating. Investors are panicking that these luxury bags might not be the goldmine they once were, and consumers are starting to ask, what did I pay for? Are these exclusive Birkin bags really crafted by artisans in France? Or are they mass-produced in Shenzhen workshops, on the same lines as knockoffs, and is it really worth every penny? Now, here's something straight up wild. A ton of celebs and influencers you see flexing Hermès bags on Instagram, they're actually rocking fakes. Yup. They're tagging the real brand, building that luxury image, but what's in their hands? Cheap counterfeit bags. Why? To keep up with the trends without burning a hole in their wallet. Industry insiders spill the tea. Plenty of stylists even deliberately buy fakes, tag Hermès for clout, and then get invited to high-profile fashion weeks thanks to that illusion. This system doesn't reward authenticity, it celebrates the fakery.
Kendall Jenner is wearing a fake Louis Vuitton fanny pack and she didn't know it. I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why I know that this Louis Vuitton bag.
So when you see your favorite celeb flaunting the latest Hermès bag, ask yourself, is that really the real deal, or do they even care? The ugly truth is, it's the brand that sells, not the bag.
This jewelry on my arm is real. Don't love me because of no fucking diamonds. Take all this shit. This bracelet right here look real as a... This shit was $23 on Amazon.
So, who's really winning in this game? Luxury brands like Hermès, they're still raking in billions. Celebrities, they're cashing massive checks. Influencers, they're getting hooked up with fancy gifts and exclusive invites. But you, the regular consumer, you're the real loser here. You're dropping a month's salary, maybe even rent money, on a label stitched in China, hyped up by folks who didn't even buy it. So, are you buying quality or just a fleeting fantasy? But hold up, it gets crazier. Hermès is now waging an all-out legal war to cover up the truth. They're suing a slew of Chinese manufacturers, those who dared to spill their production secrets. This ain't just a few random lawsuits. Reports say Hermès is targeting multiple factories, slapping them with charges like defamation and misuse of intellectual property. But let's be real, what they're really scared of is being exposed. They're panicking because they got caught red-handed. The timing couldn't be worse for Hermès. With the US slapping heavy tariffs on Chinese imports, global brands are being forced to show their supply chain cards. And guess what? Most of that so-called French craftsmanship from Hermès is actually coming from factories in Shenzhen. As this truth leaks out, the luxury image Hermès built is starting to crack. They're not just trying to save face, they're fighting for survival. So what does this mean? Luxury brands aren't symbols of superior quality anymore. They're marketing machines, selling you an illusion at a cutthroat price. As the Hermès empire wobbles, it's time we ask, what's the real value of a luxury bag? Is it quality or just an overhyped label? Don't get played anymore. Stay woke and ask yourself, what are you really paying for? In this world flooded with images and illusions, true value doesn't lie in what you own, but in your clarity. When we chase luxury symbols, we're unwittingly pawns in a game we can't win. Instead of investing in pieces of this illusion game, invest in what's real: skills, experiences, and relationships that enrich your life in ways no luxury bag ever could. Remember this: true freedom comes from breaking free of this endless consumption cycle. When you get that, you'll realize the most precious luxury is your ability to see beyond the illusion society's trying to sell you. An earthquake is shaking the foundations of the luxury world, and no one can escape its fallout. If the truth about the real origins of these pricey bags keeps spreading like wildfire, we're witnessing the tipping point of a consumer revolution. The public isn't just questioning Hermès anymore, it's the entire luxury empire. Louis Vuitton, Prada, Chanel, the whole fashion royalty is trembling. And that terrifying moment when the Made in France label loses its sparkle, that's when luxury loses all its meaning. Right now, Hermès is in a state of sheer panic. They're frantically launching legal attacks, firing off a barrage of love suits, and desperately hoping to silence the factories that dare to expose the truth about them. But it's probably too late, because the truth is out and the internet never forgets. Now that you know the truth, will you still drop $60,000 on a bag made in the same building as your cheap Amazon package? Or will you make a smarter choice and shop on DHgate for the same quality at a fraction of that cutthroat price?